All right, we're going to go through a quick overview of the Xroc system for the NQ. And I think the NQ, it's a great instrument for this because there's so many opportunities. I think you could do really well if you have a good plan in place. So let's take a look at some of the indicators, and I'll explain a little bit of them. So you'll see them here. So we have our TOT Dyno SR zones. So this is the highway here that's running through this opacity zone here that's running through the market. We also have this blue, yellow, and we have also a pink horizontal line that prints off to the side of the price chart right here. So these are dyno zones for different intervals and spans. So it basically takes average expansion of price and then calculates out these levels where markets are likely to turn or bounce or start to get the other side of traders coming in. One of the things, blue, if the market's below the blue line, you want to sell. If it's above the blue line, it's likely more buying. Same thing goes with the highway here, the opacity, this gray zone that runs through. If price is above that, we want to buy. If price is below it, we want to sell. We also have our average bar, which is a calculation of the OHLC of price, and we are using Ninja Renko bars. So this is an average movement similar to Hakanashi, but it's OHLC calculated out. So again, if it has a full body, we want to buy full body bars, sell full body sell bars. Sell bars are white, the buy bars are green. In this scenario here that I have it, you can make them any color you want. But you have doji bars. We don't want to buy doji bars. We don't want to sell doji bars. So again, buying full body green bars above the highway, above the blue line, selling full body white bars below the highway, below the blue line. So just simple rules going into place there. We have our extreme oscillator. I'm going to pull this off the screen here. So our extreme oscillator here is the histogram, not the green line, but just the histogram. So this is measuring convergence and divergence of the OHLC of our average bar. So it's measuring that. And so it's similar to a MACD, but different calculations. So settings can be changed with that, of course, using similar settings to the MACD, because like I said, it doesn't matter if we're measuring out the average OHLC. We're going to get a better view of price. So again, we want to buy if it's blue above the highway, above the blue line. We want to sell if it's red below the highway, below the blue line. Pretty simple, just simple rules at that for that part anyways. And again, those can be set. We have our relative momentum, which is my REMI, which is a custom indicator I designed. And now I actually attach this to the relative change. So we have our relative change in price. So the expansion in price. So when the relative movement expands or contracts, that it's actually attached to that. So it's taking that in consideration. So again, when the green line is below the zero line, we want to look to sell if price is below the highway, and we have red histogram. We want to buy if the green line is above zero, and we have blue, and we're above the highway, and we have blue histogram. So pretty simple again. below 0, selling as long as all the other rules apply. Above 0, buying if all the other rules apply. Pretty simple. Again, so now let's come down. We have our swing indicator. This is just for, just to see off, and you can see that here on the swings. Prints a little red dash line or a green dash line. This just gives you just some visual of where that swing high might be. Just so if you're looking to go through a swing high, you might want to protect yourself and that sort of thing. But it's just for identification of swing highs and lows that are naked. Then we have our Xroc. And this guy is the thing between this and our Remy and oscillator. I think this is where everything is really good. So with the Xroc, again, this is taking the relative price change, the expansion and contraction of the actual price movement. So when it accelerates, you'll see that it actually expands up, and when it deaccelerates, it'll go flat and so forth. So again, with this Xroc, when the blue line is below the 0 line and we're below the highway, this is sell opportunities. When it's above the blue line is above the 0 line and we're above the highway, it's a buy scenario. And again, the same thing goes above and below the blue line here. And I'll show you as we scroll back in history, you'll be able to see it. And then you see how the blue line never went below 0 here, just stays flat. And so we never cross below, even though we have a lot of selling, which our histogram here is showing us that there's a lot of profit taking going in here, or a lot of sell orders going in, but the market's actually not going down. So this tells us that there's divergence and convergence going on, and so gives us the opportunity again, since the price is above the highway here, that we're looking for the next buy opportunity, which would be in this scenario here. So when it crosses. So with the Xrocs, that's what we're looking at, and that's kind of what it's doing. And again, it's all calculated off of OHLC. And then we have our gap bars. So our gap bars, we can adjust for our different minutes in regards to what we want to see and so forth. So depending on what you like, I think you could utilize the 2 or 5 minute gap bars here. And so what do these do? Realistically, they'll show you when you get gaps in the momentum, meaning the price isn't coming back to touch the high or low of the previous bar in that time frame, and so that leaves a value gap, as they would call it. And so in those gaps actually will tell you that there's going to likely be an expansion to the upside or the downside for that gap, meaning the gap is telling you that one side of the market is being controlled. So usually you get a measured move when those gaps happen. So when you have multiple gaps getting printed in an up move, that tells you that it likely going to the next inefficiency area or the next gap of the opposite color, and then that gap could be filled or could actually be rejected, one or the other. So what they tell you is that they give you some understanding of a measured move that might be in place, but also they show you areas that you don't want to try to trade through. So when you see this red zone up here on the top of the chart, and you see there's a green gap zone here, so this green gap was printed, and then you have a red gap, so a sell zone here. You don't want to expect that the market's just going to zoom right through it. So you want to make sure that you're playing it safe, or whatever you might want to do in regards to trying to trade through those opposite zones. So you want to buy off green zones, as it has here in situations, and you want to sell off the red zones. And again, in most cases, these are going to be counter trend trades, and that's not something you want to do. Again, the rules need to apply. So again, above the highway, full body green, below the highway, full body white, above the zero line blue, and the green line above the zero line, and the Xroc above the zero line. So that's the rules in place for those gap bars. Now I can turn on the history for the gap bars, because you're not going to see history on the chart. Usually don't show history, but if you want to not hide the filled gaps, and then you can actually turn on the outline of them, and that will give you the ability to see which ones are the history and so forth. So we'll do that now. All right, so got it loaded in here. So this is the end of the day. So we're kind of just, we'll scroll back. And as you say, you scroll back, you can see the blue line and the yellow line. And I believe the pink line is somewhere up there. So, so let's scroll back a little bit. We'll just take a time. And you can see there's a current red zone up here. And then these ones that have like a red outline, that was a sell zone that was rejected. Again, this one, this green, this was a buy zone that finally got rejected back here. So here it rejected it and it closed below. So that zone ends up printing across the screen. So let's scroll back a little bit in time and maybe again, just to see how things look. Really doesn't matter where we start or stop, but it's kind of 10 o'clock. Let's just see. We go back to the start of the day, or at least 7 or so. Well, here's 6:30. So here's our gap down. We have a gap down, so it prints the red zones in there because of the gap. So it's a gap. So we'll see most on the NQ, most gap downs are going to get filled by the end of the day. Not all, but a lot. So it usually takes a minute or so, because this is the RTH open. So it takes about a minute or two to have everything kind of catch up. Because, of course, if it gaps down, you're going to see the histogram all the way at the bottom. You see Xroc down at the bottom. You're going to see everything down, whereas if it gapped up, everything would be up. So in about a minute, you see it starts to normalize, meaning it comes back to 0. And once it comes back to 0, then everything you can start looking at. So we're blue, and we're underneath, so we should be looking to sell. The Xroc is above, then it crosses below here, and we start getting some sells. We get our first red below and blue below, and the price is below. And so could you trade this? Yep. Well, technically you could take that as a trade. I like things to happen a little closer to the swing personally, but I have noticed that these all work out as well. So, and again, not everything works out. There's no holy grail to trading. So just FYI. As the market kind of moves itself and it kind of pushes back through our highway and we get our blue histogram, this becomes a buying opportunity. Again, can you buy counter trend? You can do whatever you want. It's trading, but a plan is a plan, and a plan is how you succeed and so forth. But a lot of these do work out as well. So, so it comes up above the highway now. And so, and then we have a pullback, and again, we're not selling here. We do have the Xroc that pulled back, and then, but we did not have our green line pull below. We don't have any red, and we get our blue lines here, and so this would be our sell or buy zone here, and we're looking for 3 bars. So 1, 2, 3 bars, pretty simple, 3-bar win. We have a little less than a 3-bar stop, so easy win right there. Not sure I would have taken that being 2 minutes in. Usually don't show up until about 7-ish, 6:45, 7-ish myself, but same thing goes with, you know, the sell opportunity. I mean, can you trade it? Yep, but I'm usually not around. Market comes down here and we go red, and so you wouldn't be buying here. And look, if you bought here, it went up a bar, it chopped down, chopped back up. I mean, you would have not filled so great there. Finally gets a blue bar here, but see, you're trading into a sell zone, and that's what you don't want to do. You want to make sure you have at least 3 bars to that sell zone. There's also the open there, so you don't buy into these zones. Now let me scoot this over as well so you can see it. We can go bar by bar, because you can see that our dyno zones are here. So we're underneath the blue. So realistically, we want to continue to sell if we're below the highway and below the blue. We're above the highway and still below the blue. So usually it's going to come back and touch the blue. If it stays above this highway, it's going to come back and touch that blue, or it's going to continue going sideways until that blue catches up. So we're crossing down below, but we're actually not through the highway yet. So we get a chop bar here, and the market comes back up, and we're not buying here because this is all red. This is below, so we're not buying here. Also, there is 3-bar move to that, but wouldn't expect that to actually move that way. Would actually be looking to sell, and so we'd be looking for a full body sell bar. This does get a chop bar, so 1 and 2, and then it starts to go blue here. But again, the Xroc is above, the green line is still below, but we are getting blue. And then what is the reason we don't buy here is because this is a sell zone. So it's just going sideways again and again. The green line, the Remy, still not above 0, so there was no buy opportunity there. We had a lot of the rules in place, except for the fact that we have a sell zone, which is our gap. So now we're going south. Usually you want to wait till it gets through the highway for that. And so could you have taken this trade right when it turns red and everything's below? Yeah, you could, but and it would have worked out. It would have been, but you got our chop bar here, and then it comes up, and you would be looking for the sell opportunity, which comes right here, our full body, and everything's below, and that's where you would actually make your profits right there. Pretty simple. You can see at this time right here, we're going to start getting a sell gap, but you wouldn't know that yet. It wouldn't be printed yet, but I'll show you as it does. It's going to give us some type of understanding of a measured move down. All right, we're still below, and we're getting another sell bar. So again, is this a point you could actually take this trade here to go south? We got everything is aligning. So again, there's your win, another chop bar, and now this we have our Xrocs going flat, and we have divergence on our yellowy green line here. We have divergence on the histogram. Can you buy that? I wouldn't suggest it in regards to that. I think a lot of them work out and some don't, of course. but I'll explain a little bit of the divergence trade. I think that's the one worth taking, but if we can run into it. But currently, our rules are still to sell at this point, and not yet, but we will see that gap zone print in, and that will give us some information to sell even more. So the market's still trying to go down, but again, this is not a full body bar. A full body bar looks like this bar, or this bar, or this bar, or this bar. This is still a doji bar, so it would not. And here's a full body bar here. Would you continue selling? If you are out of a trade, I would not sell. If you are still in this trade and running a contract, then yes, you would run it, but I would not sell again here in this move. This is 1, 2. This could be our last move down. Also, I do have these key levels in here, and that is a third-party indicator, not that prints these in, but I print them in and then lay lines on them, and all they are is OHLC, naked OHLC lines. So so I would not be selling into that zone anyways at this point. But all right, so now we're getting a little bit of turn, and again, all rules are telling us to sell. At this point, everything's below blue line, below highway. We're below, our green line is now above, our blue line is below. So now we're crossing above, but again, we're below the highway. So, and at this point, I don't believe we would see this line here yet. So I think we got another little bit more before that line actually appears. Comes off the highway here. Again, no selling yet because we are positive on this side. Our Xroc is positive, so no selling. Our Xroc actually points upward on this bar, so I would actually be looking for this market to turn up at this point because the Xroc does pretty well. So now it pitched back down. So now we're getting that little divergent move now. So here's what I was talking about. See how the divergent move, it starts to show you that the expansion is on the buy side and not the sell side. As the histogram changes, the RMI changes, and the Xroc changes. So in these cases, that's when the divergence actually plays out. I would still probably wait until you get the full signal, which would be on this bar here, for it to go up. And there it went up your 3 bars, no problem. Has a little chop because of the highway, which I wouldn't trade through the highway anyways. So most bars chop at the highway anyways. So, and then at this point here, you have a sell zone here. So you wouldn't want to be trading into that sell zone because you're going to get a chop here. We do have a buy zone, a very small one anyways, that comes into play here. But it wouldn't be there yet. So it's showing you where it started expanding, which is at this point. So we got a little chop there. But again, that buy trade would have worked and that's what I'm talking about as the divergence. So not divergence like this down here where you see nothing, but just some, discrepancy in the histogram or the line. But the divergence actually has to have the rules apply to the trade, right? So meaning that everything has to be above or below. So beyond that, again, we're still in a sell mode at this point because we're under, slightly over the highway, and now it's going back under. At this point, we still aren't selling. We got our RMI, it's flat and high right now. It isn't going back to the 0 at this point. Everything else is, it looks like, as it expands. And there we have a cross finally on the 0. Could you sell this? I wouldn't sell this, and again, into that key level there as well, and it was divergent. I mean, it might just keep going, who knows, but beyond this, I would not be looking to sell that many bars into the turn. I would like try to get everything to align within these first couple bars here, and that's where I like to take those trades. And of course, it just goes one bar, and then it's gonna turn up from here. And we also have some hidden divergence, which is an interesting factor when it's hidden, because I think it has more weight as hidden divergence. So it's reversal divergence because the market is going down, but beyond that, at this point, I wouldn't be looking to do any kind of reversal trade. And just sticking with the plan, again, now we're starting to climb over the top of the highway. And so, again, we have a sell zone there, and this red sell zone is here. And then we also have a buy zone that's come into play here. And you would actually see the buy zone starting to appear here as this bar kind of climbs over. So we're getting a switch here over the highway, but the bars aren't over the highway yet, even though this is a cross. So can you take that trade? Possibly. I don't know if it's, like I said, no plan. The plan is to stick to the plan. So above the highway, and you just be patient and wait. So our sell zone gets rejected. So that sell zone, again, is now voided, and so it would disappear. And even though we're looking at history here, it would disappear at this point. You would have our buy zone there. We have another buy zone that's going to come into play as well. So here, could you buy here when it changes? You could do whatever you want at that point. At this point, it's a double, triple bottom. You could make all the assumptions you want. It is a cross. I have noticed that when this does cross, you do usually get their 3-bar win. But does that mean it's going to not hit your 3-bar loss first? No, it does not mean that. So, all right, so coming up, and again, we have another little key level here, and you can tell we've bounced on it multiple times here, top and on the bottom. So now it's chopping through it. And now we're above the highway here, and we're above, so we should actually look to buy here, especially since we have a small buy zone here, and we got enough room up to here. Now this buy zone wouldn't be here yet, so not yet anyways. So we would be looking for a full body bar here. So we're kind of looking for this to turn blue here, and there's our blue bar. So there you can take a shot at this climbing. There's your 3-bar win, and then it chops a little at that swing high right there. So, and you would actually see the swing little indicator actually will have that there. So you could go break even right here and just get your 3-bar win, or you can hold it and see if you're gonna get more. But so you got the Xrocs, you got full divergence here. You see full divergence. You got some major divergence here on the Xroc, on the histogram, on this, and we're crossing below here. So I have a feeling this is going to pull back and give us another opportunity. Oh, it's chopping, so we can see if we get another blue, and there's our blue, but we haven't crossed with the RIMI yet. And there's our cross with the RIMI. Now, if you have 3 bars to the open, I think you could go for it. And there you go, nice winner to the open. And again, trying to keep this really simple. You got to wait till the rules all apply, because it's all about the momentum. The interesting thing is when that thing crosses at 644.00, 644.36, it's 36 seconds for that win. So these are quick. You're not sitting in a bar that goes up and down forever, wallops you out. Now you won't be, again, trading through this zone, and as you can see here, we're getting to the blue line. So what happens at the blue line usually is we get the sellers are going to start coming back in. Also, we have some major divergence here still going on all the oscillators. So not that, again, we don't take it just faking divergence. Otherwise, you would have been chopped out here. You would have been chopped out like 100 times and all. Not. But you know what I'm saying. So we hit our blue line. We're into our sell zone here. We're at the open. So again, you see what happens at the blue line. You got profit taking the start. We have divergence. So again, could you take a reversal trade here? No, I wouldn't do that personally. If you're above the highway, below the blue line, I would actually be looking to still buy at this point. But I wouldn't buy into that sell zone or the open or the blue line. So I would just be waiting here. We are red here on the oscillator, the extreme oscillator and the REMI, but our Xroc is not. It's telling that there's a lot of profit taking up here from this move is what's happening. But we haven't got the expansion to move to the downside yet. And the market moves up into the sell zone a little bit, but you see the REMI and the extreme oscillator is staying down here. We finally get a blue, and it punches up, but our REMI is not above the zero, so no buying yet. It's still flat, and you can tell. Because what happens, here's the center line of the gaps. So here's the center of the gap. And it's actually a previous low, because that's that red line there. So what's going to happen here, and look at our REMI, how it's sloping down as this market's going up. So basically it's just telling you that profits are being taken at that point. And then here's our yellow line. So this, again, first time back usually to this zone, it's gonna pull back and a little farther usually from on the yellow one than it does on the blue one. The market does finally cross up with the expansion there, but do you take that? No, because you're in a sell zone and you have the yellow line right there and just nowhere to go. And so it rolls off of that as we turn down. And so again, we're above everything. We're kind of in a no man's land right here to even trade. So wouldn't be taking anything right here. Could you just take the cross when it crosses here? Probably. I mean, you could probably do a lot of things, but and would have it worked out well for that? It would have. Another thing to realize, when this oscillator gets up into the extreme levels here, it'll actually turn usually, unless the market's on a big rip. So we're back under the blue, we're back under the yellow, we're back getting down below the highway again. So we have a buy zone that's still here, so we wouldn't want to sell into this buy zone at the moment. It goes right through the buy zone, and we have a sell zone that's going to come into play here. And you see that was a big move down off of the gap there, and that's why these are really important to watch, because yes, you can get big moves off of those sometimes. All right, so we have another gap zone. It's a sell gap here. It's going to come into play. Not yet though, but almost. Maybe another couple bars. You'll actually see the sell gap there, and actually that sell gap, it maintains throughout the rest of the day because it's solid. As you can see, it's not gray. But so oscillator and everything popped up here. We're not above the highway yet, so we got a doji bar, and then we get a sell bar, and we get another sell bar, but nothing is we have an Xroc down. Everything is still up here. And then we got a red histogram. And then see how our Remy is still staying up here. So no sell at this point. The Remy crosses down here. Could you sell right here? You could. It's, for me personally, it's a little far from the swing, but again, sometimes these a lot of times work out, and that one would have worked out. All right, so now we have our gap zone, so we know that this gap that's put in there, that zone, is now going to be a measured move of, at most likely a measured move of this swing that happened, and you can measure it from the top or the bottom. So we're going to be looking for the market to come back down to this low here, or even a bit farther if you measure this from the bottom of the gap. So if you measure from the bottom, it's going to go down to this low here, which is actually a support level. But again, we're not going to take a trade and hold it, because we all know how that works. We got massive divergence here on either side to reverse here. So we get a chop bar, another chop bar, and then we get another sell bar to go down. Can you sell this? You know, again, there's lots of things. Usually I want it to pull back closer to that highway and to get a move down. We're looking for those swings. And again, it's just chopping here. Xroc is up, or the Xroc is down, and the Remy is up, and the oscillator is down, and we're below. So we're looking. So again, no trade until we get a pullback. And again, it wouldn't be trading through this key level here. We also have these swings down here, so you would be having a little red dashed line going across here. We have divergence. The Xroc, or the Remy, is up. It's above now, so still nothing at this point for buying, but nothing for selling either. Now everything crosses down here. Could you sell that? Again, there's no real pullback. It's like just chop sideways and continuation. So again, that support zone is down here, that for the measured move. If you're measuring from the top, it's like right in here where it chopped. So could you sell that? Well, I mean, technically you could probably sell anything that does that, but I'm not interested in that. It only went one. Now we get our move back up. And again, whenever the market gets away from the blue line, it's going to come back to the blue line. Whenever the market gets away from the highway, it's going to come back to the highway. So you always got to look at, like, how many times did it go down, and you got to expect that you're going to get a pullback before going back down. So again, waiting for that pullback. Again, look at this, all crosses up, and can you just trade that up? You know, hey, you could do whatever you want, right? And that's the beauty of trading. All right, so we got a sell gap here, and that's important because we don't want to believe this is going to go through this, and I already know that it's not, because this is actually still solid. So that means that the market didn't make it through that zone. Again, we're up at the extremes here, so same with down here. So you're going to see some type of pullback, and so it does a little pullback there. As you can see, down to the highway, it's going to try up. It chops back down, it chops back up, it gets up into the zone, and it looks like it's going to get rejected. But you see how our divergence is starting to work out as well. So our divergence is actually still forming, and not yet crossing with the momentum yet. Now we get the Remy crossing, the Xroc's pointing down, we get a cross, we get a cross. Now this is divergent. Is this worth taking right here? Actually, it might wait for another bar, and maybe at this point you could take this sell off of this gap zone. So it only went 2 bars. It chopped. It looks like it went your 3rd bar, and then it chopped back up. You still wouldn't be chopped out, but now you would. So again, trading above the highway, not the greatest idea. Could have you got out? Yeah, you could have got out with your 2 bars, and if you got out on the chop bar, you would have been fine. But if you tried to let that go, as everything started pointing up, and that's where you want to look at this Xroc here. You see on that chop bar, you see it point up, and that's where you want to exit that trade, no matter win or loss or whatever it is. You just exit, because it's usually going to go that direction. So back up into the zone here, and again, looking for it to stay underneath these areas, the blue line and that sell zone. There it touches the blue line, turns back down. Again, nothing. There's your cross again. Again, you could go for this again. Again, it's a sell zone. It's massively divergent. So you could go for this sell again. The second time it pulls through. Best, of course, is to wait to not take divergent trades, especially that, and wait for the pullback. And you get our pullback to the zone, and we look for our sell again. It chops, and there's our sell right there. Did we get 2? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. It would have maybe chopped you. You might have got your 2 bar. It might not have gotten your 3rd. You might not have been clipped out. And then it goes flat, and it chops its way back down. So it would have finally have gone, but that was definitely a little bit more of a choppy action. So you get 1, 2 bar move, and then it pulls back around. You could have got out with a few tick profit, maybe a few more, or you wait and hold it and see if you can make it through it. Either way. Again, what I like to do is you look to the left, you see chop bars, and you got 2 here and 2 here, and then you get this whole section. So they kind of line up. It's interesting, but the chop bars line up with other chop bars. And so same thing goes with these right here and these right here. And then you get this chop zone here, and then these chops, this chop, and then these chops. So it's interesting, but when you see clean bars to one side and then you see clean bars to the other, they're pretty good. So need some chops here, and we're still below, so we're waiting. Oh, now it's going back up. There's getting some swing action here. Back down. Has not crossed yet. And there's our cross. That's your sell. We haven't had a sell zone come in yet, but definitely have a sell opportunity here. That one pays out no problem. Again, down into the zone. We're still underneath everything. We get another sell opportunity here, and that one pays out, and get a nice little run on it. Waiting for the pullback, and no sell opportunity yet. Still no sell opportunity. Still no sell opportunity. Now see, we're getting too far away from the swing for me personally, but as you see that this is not conforming still. Now it says, okay, they start putting in a lot more orders, so the expansion. We get a chop bar, and this is the actual bar. That bar, nothing had crossed yet. That bar, the RIMI finally crosses 0, and it's a doji bar, so that's not an entry bar. So that would have been no trade. And again, you see there's that divergence there, and here, and here, and then it goes green, but it doesn't actually go until there. So technically this would be, ideally be the point of entry. The RIMI is not really pointing up. It's kind of flattish. So it'd be a little risky, but the momentum carried. And now we're hitting our sell zone. So we'd be looking for the market to come off the sell zone. There is no sell opportunity here. And this is where the sell opportunity happens, is right here. Would you take that? Again, it's a little too far from the swing for me. It goes 2 bars and then chops. If you're smart, you get out. If not, it held it. You would have actually paid. But again, I wouldn't have traded through these zones. Again, these are naked OHLC zones that I just plot. There's 3 chops now going down. Chop, chop, chop. So we get some divergence. We'll see. Again, 716, we've seen quite a few little moves, but again, that whole changing direction through the highway, though, I don't trust that. We're above the highway. We're still below the blue line. So above the highway, we want to go back to the blue line. But realistically, we still want to be looking to sell since we are below that blue line until we climb above it. We could buy here, though, because we do have room. But we're back below. Again, there's our first cross below. Could you sell it? You could do whatever you want. Again, it's a little far from the swing for me. It works. Here's our highway, and get our chops, and there's our sell bar, and that's where you would sell. And there's a nice win for the gap to be closed. We got some divergence again. And right there, you could actually take the reversal. Not sure that's the greatest idea through the highway, but it works out. And again, all rules applied except for the highway and the blue line, of course, up there. But oscillators were all confluent. Trying to sell here. We're not selling here. There's nothing yet below or red. So you would have got chopped out in a loss. You've tried to reverse here. You got, because there's divergence everywhere. You've got tried to take this. You get chopped out and loss. There's so many false turns. So anyways, so here this would have been a false turn. So we're all above. We're now above the highway. So realistically, we want to look to buy. I'm still above, so no buy opportunity, no sell opportunity either at this point. Everything's crossing below. Now we get a cross below. Could you sell this bar? Again, it's a little too far from the swing for me. But I mean, the oscillators are across and we're below the highway, so you could chance this. It chops, it chops, it chops. Hopefully you got out, or not. Maybe you just hold it and pray. That's your life. Hope and pray. It actually goes. And again, look to the left right there, and you got this whole chop bottom here. So it's like I want to develop something that identifies and just gives a visual of this chop zone. Because like I said, this all chops just right at that chop, so interesting. But all right, so we're heading down again, and again we're still under the blue line. We're under the highway. These are OHLC zones that I just plotted a line, so just so you know. Our gap zone, this is old, so it's not yet printed. This gap zone is printed, no problem. It was there, the trade came off of there, chopped under the highway, and then took off. So maybe the trade would have been coming off of that chop, maybe. Still under. Now we're over. You can see right here we're over. Now it's blue. So reversal trade, it's not really a full body bar. It's only a half body bar, and it has a tail on the bottom. So I don't know if I would take that. The Xroc's flat. It's actually pointed slightly down. So I would, and we're under the highway. So even for the reversal trade, is divergence there, but I wouldn't really be looking at that. It chopped, and so it went the other way. And again, sticking to the rules, under the highway, everything, and don't even try reversal trades. You would be a winner chicken dinner. Right, here's the interesting thing that I was talking about. So the Xroc, it doesn't happen every time, but the Xroc's pointed up. That's a down bar. We're still up. So look, the market goes the other way on the next bar. Interesting. I wonder how many times that actually plays out as a hit rate, because literally you could take a trade at the close of that bar right there and take your win at the top of the bar. So interesting, but not sure it's actually a system. Here we're now above, we're crossing above. Again, you're below the highway. I would not be looking or attempting to do a reversal trade here, but people are people. So 1, 2, 3, it's a small wedge bottom with divergence, but that's how I'd be thinking about it. But we do have a sell zone here. Let me see if you would have been seeing it. 20, what's the expansion here? So this would be plotted. So the expansion is large enough in that span. So you would be seeing that right about in here. You'd be seeing this red zone pop in. So to try to sell off of that, you would be looking to sell right here maybe, but there's no sell opportunity. It's now becomes a reversal possible opportunity. It chops, and again, it does not work out. One of the things too is the hidden divergence, like between this peak and this peak, or this peak and that peak. These are higher, so but it didn't even move. It's not really doing so. It's just chopping. Maybe there's news right now. I don't even know. So right now, still looking for sells. We're under the highway. We got a sell gap. Market now is down low and it's red. Can you take that? Again, it's too far from the swing for me, so not really looking to take that trade. And it goes 2 bars and then chops the other direction. All right, so we get the market moving up here. We getting that cross again. Everything crosses. And look, it went 3 bars the other direction, so keeps playing those out. We're getting a pretty good little pullback here. We're all up at the extremes. Now our full body bar is starting to get a larger tail on top, so we're looking for the Xrocs here now pointed down on that bar, so probably going to reverse. Nope, it does not. Keeps going. Whoa, it's a big rip. So can you jump on these? Well, yeah, like I said, it was a reversal trade, but I don't know if you want to how many of those actually make big moves like that, I don't know. So getting a chop here. We're above the highway now. We're below the blue line, so we're probably looking to go back to the blue line. At this point, we're above our sell zone, so that's being rejected. So we want to look for that to turn and go back up. And we still get no cross yet. Everything's down on the oscillators, the Remy. The Xroc was up. So we didn't get a buy scenario here. And again, we have a sell zone that's right there, and look, it chopped on it with that OHLC, and then you also have a swing. So there is quite a bit of stuff right there. We didn't get the opportunity because the green line didn't come across the zero line. We crossed all back down here. Do you just reverse that? Well, you can do whatever you want again. Again, our sell zone stops being printed right here. The expansion was overtaken. We do have a buy zone here, and we also have another buy zone here. So we have two buy zones with the expansion. And get our first full body there, but no turn, so no buy trade. Even though we're above the highway, we're still below. A lot of profit taking, it looks like. That's what it looks like to me, as it's trying to just pull back. Again, we're crossing below. When it crosses below here, everything's confluent, can we take that trade? Again, you could do whatever you like. It only went 2 bars and then chopped, so I would not be doing that. Again, you got a buy zone here. You got a buy zone here. We have a sell zone that comes in and overtakes that buy zone, but that sell zone does not punch in yet until there's enough expansion, which won't be for a few bars, it looks like. So now we're all below here. Nope, we're not yet. So we're looking again for a sell opportunity. We're below the highway. We're now below. Everything's crossing. Again, it's pretty far, but a lot of times these are working out. You have a buy zone here. I wouldn't actually be taking that trade. I'd be waiting. Goes 3 bars, then chops on the OHLC and the buy zone there. So, and you can see that the Remy doesn't follow suit here. It kind of goes up and then chops flat, so it's not measuring the momentum very well. We're getting another opportunity off the highway here. Again, full body bar down. Look at the Remy. Look at the Remy punch down, and we got an Xroc. So again, this would be a sell opportunity right here. It chops, you would be out, or you hold, or you re-enter here, and there's your 3 bar, 4 bar, 5 bar win. And then it chops again. We got this zone of up down over there maybe that it was looking at. So the Remy pops up here. Oscillator is popping. We get another full body bar down. Again, we're still flat. Could you go for this? You know, I'd probably wait for another bar in there. At that point, I would sell. Let's see here. 1, 2. You might have got out with that, but you see how far we popped back up. So it went 2 bars, almost 3 bars. So it probably was 1 tick shy. Might have actually clipped it. If you got a retracement entry, which a lot of times I get retracement entries, then that would have clipped you off, no problem. Another thing to look at is that last bar here on the Xroc's going up. So you, again, as we talked about earlier, when that Xroc starts pointing the other direction and you got a sell bar, it's divergent from the bar itself. the next bar usually becomes a reversal bar. So not that you can look at that and see that. I think most people are so interested in the ticks flipping by instead of actually reading the chart for trading as they're in a trade. But hey, what do I know? No cross yet. There's our, everything crosses here, but it's not a full body bar. We're underneath. It's at a OHLC zone again. We get our chop bar here. We're still waiting. Everything's still up. Everything's still up. We're still below the highway, but everything crossed up right there. Can you take that? Again, I would not. I mean, yes, it works out, but I just would not. We're gonna get a buy zone, but you got to remember we have a sell zone right here. So this sell zone, it does look like we're going back to the blue line. We're at the extremes now. And here's our sell zone up here. That's still there. So push to that. Getting a big rip. Wow, that's a good size one. Maybe the news, I don't know. OHLC lines, as you see those, we're over the blue line, over the highway. Our Remy already cut back down. It's like way divergent. A lot of profit taking then, for sure, up there. We're not buying here, right? We're not buying here because nothing is telling us to buy. We're not selling. Well, could you sell right here? You could, as counter trend, you could sell, maybe get back to the blue line in the highway. It would have worked out. But there's your reversal, kind of your reversal kind of scenario. Everything applies. You have enough room to the highway or the blue line and nothing really in the way. But again, sticking with the trend as your friend is a really good idea. So we're above the highway. We're going right, big up, big down, big confusion maybe. So, and so we're coming off the blue line. We're coming off the highway, but we have no buy scenario yet. Still no buy scenario. Still no buy scenario. We crossing up. Still no buy scenario. Still no buy scenario. And this is our first buy scenario right here. Now, the Remy's pointing down on the bar. I mean, it's a little risky at this point. You got swing highs there, OHLC zones. We do get these gap zones right here. So these gap zones tell us that there could be measured move of those gap zones. So possible, it's a bit risky here. Again, if that was pointed up, I'd probably say go for it, but it's probably will work out. Nope, chop, chop. It would have let you out and then worked out. So you could have got it either way. I don't know. But I wouldn't have taken that trade. It's just, again, there's setups that, you know, just don't work out. Above the highway, above the blue line. Now we're crossing below. Can you take it? Again, it worked out. And chopped on the blue line. And again, we're crossing back and forth in the highway, so probably not going to give us a signal. No signal. We get our first signal here to buy. It chops and then goes. If you waited for the secondary bar, which that blue right there is so small. Was that even... Yeah, I mean, it was blue, but it's so small. I mean, probably would have waited and then got a chop bar. None of this would have been good, that's for sure. You're trading through the OHLC zone again. Do you have 3 bars to there? Yeah, I don't know. Not the ideal situation, even though everything is showing up. And now I think we have some divergence. Everything crossing back down now. Crossing down. Blue lines right there. Gets back under. Again, looking to sell now. Finally get our cross, everything down. Did you take this trade? Nope. No, there's nothing there. You have a buy zone that's here. So again, came off the buy zone. You'd be looking for it to come back off the buy zone, but it did not. We have another buy zone that's here as well. So that's another scenario. So just would it go through or not go through? I don't know. I don't want to trade into them. It's chopping. Could you take it here going out of the chop? I wouldn't probably do that. It works out. Crosses up. Still crossing up. Back to the highway. Not getting up any higher here. There we go. And again, everything wasn't confluent to buy until this bar here. So even in the reversal, I mean, it only went 2 bars and then chopped through. Not sure I would have. I don't want to be in those, quite frankly. Back to the blue line, divergent. We did have a buy zone right there. Still, the sell zone happened right there on that bar. Went 2 bars and chopped. Again, I wouldn't take the cross, but personally, I wait for everything to set up a little more ideally. Here we have a red line. Everything's crossing here, so probably a good sell opportunity. It chops. It would have chopped you out. Secondary one maybe. Yeah. So you can't have the fear. Again, I like the ones that don't happen late. Like here, this one's 6 bars in. OHLC, it moves up, then it comes off of the highway perfectly with the sell opportunity. So again, looking for those ones are more ideal. Again, this is all red now, again for selling. And that one works out fine. You can see everything's flat again, so can you just keep selling here? I personally would not. We're back up. Back down. Again, nothing really. I mean, if you're in a trade and trying to hold, maybe, but there's just chop bar after 1-2 chop bar, 1-2 chop bar. You don't want to trade that. I mean, I guess you can. We want it to create a bump. So we don't want these 1-2 little tiny little bumps. We want it to create a bump and create a, a bump and then create another bump. These are going to tell you that the market's actually moving with swings that are big enough for your profits instead of just trying to take everything. Could you take a reversal trade after all these chop, 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 and it just never stops chopping? And then you get a reversal entry? I don't know, because, here you got a reversal entry over here, so that would have taken you out. So I don't suggest it. I really don't. I should wait for the plan. The plan is if it's under the highway, under the blue line. So, again, nothing yet. It chops, and now we're still, well, I don't know what that one is. That one might be red, but it's too small. That one's red. So you go short right there. That ideally, can you go short right there? I think you can, but I think there's chop to the left. I think it's a double bottom, and I think the Remy is pointing up, but it probably will work out. And it does. We do have this gap zone here, so again, the leg will be probably the size of the leg. So again, and we're off the highway. So no brainers, but I don't know if I would have sold that. I think this one would be better if we get a good little turn right here, but not going to happen, it looks like. We are above, and we are above. So can you buy this to the blue line? I think there's room enough to the blue line. Technically, this all aligns. There is a swing right here. So, and that's only one bar into that, so a little risky, but everything is aligning. I would probably wait for another blue bar on the histogram, another full body bar, but then that kind of puts it off a little less risk, but then a lot tighter because you have a swing here, you have a swing there, and then you have the blue line, and we have a gap zone, sell zone. So I would be a little hesitant for sure. It pays out. Back to the blue line. You can see that Remy went flat. The rock went flat. All right, so here's our sell zone here. Now we're not all the way through the highway. You could wait till it gets all the way through the highway, but at this bar, everything is down. At that bar for sure, and it chops 2 bars, and then it would have taken you out. So again, like, I don't like to take things that are going through and just crossing. I want them to be under and then bounce off. So again, you would add a swing right here, and look, that swing became that support. So other than that, like I said, you can attempt almost anything. Back to the blue line. Back to the sell zone and the blue line. And again, choppy as it chops through the highway. Everything is down here, but that's a doji bar. Now it's down. Could you try to sell this? Again, off of, it's not through the highway. You could go for it. There we got a full body through the highway, and that could be a good one to go. It chops again, then it keeps going. So your stop would have been somewhere right around here. It came back. Did not feel good. You would have got clipped down, and it would have clip. You might have been break even or zeroed or something out, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, again, back through. If the chop was under the highway, I think you have a better chance. Like here, I think you have a really good chance of selling this chop under the highway, because I think whenever it chops under the highway and then continues down, you'll get a 3-bar move. Get a 3-bar move from this area here, and it chops again before going. So either way, you would have been in some chop there. But the interesting thing is that going into this chop, everything flattens out. So again, reading the momentum, it's showing you momentum flattening out, and then it kind of accelerated, and then it's starting to flatten out again, and then it accelerates. So it's doing pushes, right? Now you get a big rip on that one. We're not selling yet. I'm still down. And now it's up. Reversal trade here. And there you go. That was it. That's the interesting thing, how everything gets confluent, but you're actually double bottoming. So it's a pretty interesting thing with the divergence. We got some sell zones here. So at this point, no sell opportunity yet. It's crossing now. Do you take that? It's quite late again. Yeah, that pans out. Again, no opportunity. And it just rips. Crossing back up. Oh, and it went 2 bars. No sell opportunity yet. It's crossing back down. Again, it would have worked out just taking those crosses when it's confluent, but 9 o'clock. Probably could have taken almost any of these. Who knows? If you're running contracts, some of these you get some big wins on, but I'm not sure you want to do that until you can prove consistency. We're crossing back up with a double bottom reversal. Would you take it? I don't know. After a big sell-off like that, I'm not sure I would be taking it, but it only went 1 bar and chopped down. So you're getting another one. We're crossing above. Do you take this reversal? This would probably be a higher probability than the last one. Nope. It's all chop. All chop. You would have got out, but boy, that's no fun. Look at the Remy. See how it's pointing straight, almost straight down now. So they're just taking profits at this point. Can you take it now? Maybe the Remy popped back up. Now you get nope, chop, and then it turned down. So again, taking anything under this highway, I mean, I just wouldn't try to take reversal trades. Stay away from them. The easy trades are when it's confluent, going the direction of the trend. Which we're getting another push down. We got a lot of gap bars, so there's measured moves. These gaps are creating big legs, so it will fail sooner or later, of course. But crossing down, we get a chop bar. And we're crossing down again. And there's our cross down. So again, the sell opportunity. And that one pays out just fine. And that was the full cross and everything down on the second bar. So second full body bar. Everything crossed there, and that was probably red, but it's pretty small. So everything crossing up, chopped, taking you out. See? Yeah, that's why you don't want to do that. Yeah, a lot of them paid out, but a lot of them right now are not. So we're not really above the highway yet, but it's looking to go up. I don't know. So only went 1 bar and chopped. I wouldn't take the reversal bar. Again, another reversal to go up. So tried to go down twice. I probably will go up now, but again, I would be hesitant. Only went 1 bar. It would have chopped you out. So again, you would just be losing left and right here, unless your stops are giant. So again, there's divergence in the rock, there's divergence in the RIMI. So all this is divergent to sell. So not to say that you want to sell, because I guess this crosses down, but look at our Xroc was pointing up here. So, and then it went one bar and then it dojied. So not sure. This is all chop here to the left. So I'm not sure you want to attempt all this. It looks like a bottom, but who knows? I don't know. That's one thing. Anybody that says they know, they're fools. Crossing up, you wouldn't see this gap zone appearing here. So I don't want to say, oh, hey, that one's going to work out. I know it's going to work out most likely because I see that there now, but that gap zone wouldn't be there. So again, I wouldn't be taking those reversals. I'd wait. And it climbs up and hits our sell gap. And so we got a pretty big bump. So we should be looking for, it'll do another leg up, or it's going to reverse the whole leg. So big up, big down, big confusion, or we're going to have a little bit of a trend on the upside. So big leg up, so pull back. So should be looking for another leg up. So, and no cross yet, no cross yet, no cross yet. And again, there's our sell zone. No cross yet, and we still have no cross yet. Still no cross. There's our cross right there. So it breaks this high, and then it gives you an entry. Would you take it right there? I wouldn't, but is it going to work out? Most likely. I think it went 3 bars, but now it's chopped, and we got some reversal divergence. So probably be looking for this to come back to the highway and then look for another leg up maybe. And there's our yellow line and a sell zone. So pulls off. Could you short this? I mean, quite frankly, you could probably short this right here, but would I do it? Yeah, I've done it, but will I do it? I don't want to do it. All right, so no trade. Cross down right here, all crossing down. So if you're taking crosses only, that everything crossed down, it's way paid out. So back to the blue line, back to the highway. Looking for a buy scenario. We got a huge histogram, so we got some major momentum down. So no buy. If you buy here, you're getting chopped, and it went your way, but nothing's telling us to buy yet. There's our first cross. And again, you got blue line in the sell zone. I wouldn't be doing that. And if, look, it turns around right there on it and then chops. And it keeps going up to the sell zone here. So again, no big up, big down, big confusion. Our gap zones are in there, so they're good to go. And again, it's reversing on this red gap zone here. And the green gap zones would be here. So these buy zones are here. They're telling us that there's a possible measure move up. And again, we're getting nothing on the RIMI. The RIMI is just staying down. So it looks like a lot of profit taking, but orders keep getting filled to go up. So there's no expansion. So nobody's wanting the market to go higher. It's just they stop buying and taking profits. The market's still slowly popping up. So okay, it's rejected our sell zone now. And so now we're off the highway again. You got our first full body bar here, but nothing crossed yet. Confluence. We're getting histogram confluence, but now it's going back down and chopping. Again, popping here. We got full body bar. So this would be your buy scenario. It chops. It would have chopped you out for a loss. Get another buy scenario. It chops you out. So again, looking at the swings here. So, and the swing isn't, I'm not showing history on the swing. You can actually show history on your swings as well. So you got a swing here, swing here. Now that swing, so you got two swings. So all these swings you're trying to trade through. So I think the best thing is, like I said, if you take this trade, it goes 1, 2, 3. If you wait for the cross, everything, it goes 1, and you don't have a very tight stop. Well, you have a tight stop. That's the problem. But you're not putting your stop down in the below one of these swings because your stop's really tight. So again, just trying to go again. And again, what is this, 10 o'clock? So everybody's coming in jockeying for orders after lunch. So then we're probably going to see the market take a big move. So we're back under, but it's chopping on the lines here. So you got blue and yellow. It's chopping pretty good. I mean, do you take that? I mean, again, the blue line, you're above it. Even though, so you're in this no man's land again. We have a buy gap, so there's still the possibility of measured move up. And it finally kind of broke out a little bit. So now, so you see how in here it created a little buy bump, little buy bump, little buy bump. So again, a little sell bump. So again, there's not any buy volume. So again, trying to buy these, if you're just looking at the chart, you're trying to buy it, you know, and then you're not really realizing what we were talking about earlier, that you want this to create a bump, and then you take the next trade, it should create another bump. And even if it doesn't create the bump, I mean, hopefully you get out and then you're not trading until the next scenario, right? But that's for you. And we're back to this next sell zone up here. So again, is it going to come off this zone? Likely it's going to come off this zone. Came off the zone, a few bars there. 2 bars, of course, but there's nothing saying to sell yet on the oscillators. Now our oscillators are saying sell, but we have a doji bar. So now we're getting a full body bar, or close to a full body bar. But we're in the highway here, so you have to chance that. Probably back to the yellow and blue line there. You got a little bit of a chop bar. 1, 2, 3. It did pay out, and then it finally chops. Do you sell here? I wouldn't sell here because of the lines being so close, but likely it's going down. The 3 bars expanding. So, and then chops on the bar. And then again, another scenario. I would probably take this just because there's hidden divergence. I would give this a chance. And your swing is here. So I'd be looking for the swing. And the buy gap is here. We're under. This here is a little interesting. I would maybe chance this. Oh, I got chopped out. There you go. And then look, it's going to actually go this time. The second time. Yeah. Nope. It went only 2 bars. And then it goes. So again, trading through these lines, not ideal. Almost better to wait until it gets underneath of them like that. And then take that trade, right? So just something as I keep realizing more and more things here. All right. We got our pullback. I would hope for a sell trade here, but big down, big up maybe. Oh, they're a little confluent there. Come on, give us some chop here. Okay, now put us in a trade. Let's see what we got. I would almost go short there, but definitely maybe there. We got a buy zone. It's a tough call right here. I probably would wait. Next one, maybe. I'd still not be trading through this buy gap. I'd wait. That one panned out, but you would have got chopped out on all the others. So again, the rule is not to trade through those buy gaps, not to trade through the lines, not to trade through the highway. Stick to the simple, easy momentum trades. We're down into the middle. Well, here's the middle of the buy gap. So came down in, came out. It's rejecting off of it. We're underneath all the lines. I would not be selling into the buy gap. Just not a good idea. No matter how much you want to sell through the buy gap, it's better not to. And you see it's stuck in here. Quite frankly, you want to look to buy off the buy gap in most cases. So where does it cross? So if you're saying, oh, I want to buy off the buy gap, this crosses here, it's a buy gap, it went up. Cross there, you would have got chopped out. Everything crossed there, you would have got chopped out. Comes back down into the buy gap, and then all of a sudden you get more buying. Crosses there, and you would have got chopped out. And here, again, you wait until it's above the highway, above these lines, and that you use the gap zone for not trading through for the most part, instead of predictive trading that you don't know. So we do have some more buy gap, but I don't think this is coming in yet. It would be in here in another moment. So here that gap zone popped in right there. So there's this, you wouldn't see that, but you'd see the sell gap up here. We are above the swing. So again, chopping just at the lines in the highway. I think this is a good scenario. You could try to go long here. I'd probably wait. There we got kind of expansion, and then that would have panned out. Okay, here's our sell zone. So our sell zone's up there. We have two buy zones. So if you're in a trade, you want to take profits. It actually goes through the buy zone or the sell zone. Could you view bought again right there? Maybe, but there's a sell zone, so I would not have done that. This upper buy zone wouldn't be here yet. This one is there. This one is here. This one is there. They're old. That means they got rejected later on, but got another sell zone right there. We've got massive divergence going on now. There's a swing that stays, looks like. So we got a sell zone that's a solid, so that one stayed through the rest of the session, but it's not quite in there yet. You wouldn't see it. You'd see the buy zones there. So you're not going to see that sell zone for a minute or so. So you got a full pullback here, all the way to the blue and yellow line, looks like. Went right through these buy gaps, went through this buy gap. It's probably going to reverse on that buy gap. Oh, maybe. Yeah, a little pullback anyways. Massive, big up, big down, big confusion. So again, trying to chop through the lines. Again, as you can see, the oscillator, even though it's below, it's not red. It's tomato colored, so it's not expanding down. It's still expanding up, so it's getting less volume, less momentum. So got a little double bottom here. Do you take that buy? I mean, I wouldn't take that. It just rejected the buy zones, and we got a sell zone, so I would be waiting for a trade off of this, which it's nice to have it right next to the highway, because that would be a good place to take a sell. And so we get our cross. I don't know if it's even crossed down there, but there it crossed down and panned out. But there was no trade at the swing unless you're just taking it. But no trade. There's divergence there for sure, hidden divergence. But this is a buy zone here, so this sell zone you wouldn't be seeing yet, but this buy zone would be here. It rejected this buy zone. We still have that one solid now. We're getting a reversal here, and there's your reversal. And it didn't work, so see again, we don't want to even attempt those really. Does it tell you? Well, no, they're all pointed up. I mean, so nothing to tell you except for the fact that you have a sell zone here, which for sure was printed already, so now it's there. So you're trading through a sell through a sell zone that gap down. So that means that the buyer or the sellers were controlling the market completely. So probably not going to go up. Better if you didn't have that there. That was for sure. OHLC crossing back up. Do you have enough room here? Maybe. I wouldn't do it again. Are you selling? No selling. Unfortunately, back to another buy zone, so it's kind of like this little choppy no man's land here. It keeps chopping down. There, no reversal again, no selling. There's our first sell bar, but not still buy zone, so you're not selling. Oh, you can't be patient. It's terrible. That's how people are in here. Okay, so we're back to a blue line. We're in a sell gap, so but we're above the highway, so nothing's confluent. Does it work out? Sure, but there's a lot that don't. So I think your hit rate is what you're looking at, right? We closed just below. Can you sell this? This could be a good sell right here. We have gap zones. We have gap zones that are being respected. So we're underneath. Oh, and you can see here's our pink line. That doesn't come into focus too much until the market really starts reversing. But so this could be a good sell. It chops again. So it would have chopped you out. You do it at a secondary time. Well, actually, I'm sorry. That's a sell zone. The Remy hadn't crossed yet, so that is not a sell. Sorry about that. And then it chops, which, of course. And then I think this bar we finally get to sell. So could you sell there? Yeah, that's legitimate there. It chops, and then it finally goes. Again, look how it chops under the highway. That would actually be your best bet. After it chops under the highway and spans out of that, then that went your 3 bars pretty easy. And then it went 4, 5, 6, 7. And we got another buy zone, so you would probably be clipping out. You had that OHLC line there, that gold line that I plot in. You can see it chopped on that as well. So, all right, I'm going to call it quits. We've been in here for an hour and 30 minutes, so this short explainer video went on quite far, but just to give you a heads up on how to look at it. So hopefully make shorter ones coming up. Have a good one.